All right. So I guess I'm live, trying something different this time. I'm going to be doing a live review of this OSD XA5180 5-channel amplifier. And yeah, just trying something new. I'll wait for some of you guys to come in here. And yeah, we'll get into it in a second. But yeah, very interesting. OSD is a channel sponsor, so I need to make sure that I say that right off the bat. They did send this out free for me to review. And yeah, all my opinions are my own. They don't get a chance to review this. This is live, so you're seeing it as is right now. Let me know if my audio is okay. Let me know if my video is good. Make sure you guys can see me. But yeah, I want to talk to you guys about this amplifier. I think it's very interesting. Typically 5-channel power amplifiers are not inexpensive. And yeah, that's the thing about home theater is once you start getting into these pre-pros and power amplifiers, the price starts to go up significantly with the more channels that you decide to add. So let's see. Can you guys see this? Oh, that's showing up backwards. Oh, okay. That's weird. Um, How can I do this? I don't know how to share a screen here. Usually I use StreamYard to do this. Can I mirror this? Anyway, it's all right. Let's just look at the pictures at least. So this is the amplifier that I'm looking at right here. This one right here. Boom. All right. So there it is. Just remember, this is mirrored. I don't know if this is going to show up backwards on here, but this is the amplifier. I think it looks very clean from the front, and on the back, what do you see? You see unbalanced RCA inputs. So that's a normal input that you can use, but also balanced XLR, which is useful in case you have to do long runs. XLR is very good at rejecting noise. So that's the whole point of using that. The front, again, pretty clean. When my wife saw it, she's just like, yeah, it looks clean. It doesn't look bad. And that's what I like. They're not trying to do too much. It's just there, nice chassis, and it has lights to indicate that it's on and also which channels are being used. So in this case, you see 5 channels. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see what else. Gold plated. So it's a nice touch. Everything seems very nice, high quality. And yeah, overall, I'm happy to recommend this to somebody who's looking for a 5-channel amplifier. What else do we got here? If you want to look at some of the internals, let me kind of read over some specs while we're looking at this here. So there's the inside of this thing. Let me get my face out of here. So yeah, there's the inside of this thing. And so it is 120 watts times 5 RMS from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So none of that, at 1 kilohertz. This is a 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz at 8 ohms. And if you're using these with 4 ohm speakers, it's 180 watts times 5. So you can see this big toroidal transformer here. This is a Class H design, and I'm not going to pretend to know exactly what that means. I mean, let me just read from their site. It says Class H hybrid amplifier technology uh, combines the benefits of Class AB in a more efficient package. Class H amplifiers are a variation of Class AB amps, but include high voltage and low voltage rails to modulate power consumption. When power is running high, the amp switches to high voltage rails. When the amp is running low, switches to low voltage rails. The result is more efficient cooler temperatures and a reduction in power consumption while maintaining the warmth and accuracy of a true AB amp without the digital drawbacks like interference of Class D amps. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. All I know is my experience. So I never have claimed to be an expert when it comes to amplifiers or actually anything. I mean, I'm a hobbyist like you guys. I get a chance to review a lot of stuff. So I have opinions based on my experiences. And so I can only speak on that. When it comes to speakers, I get to at least measure them. So that gives me a basis to make sure that I'm not just pulling stuff out of nowhere, right? When I review something, I say my experience, but also I can look at the measurements and say, okay, all right, I'm in line, nothing crazy. Here, I don't have that. I don't have measurements for these. There are reviews of other apps that are, I think, using a similar platform just because I've seen the internals and they look very similar. and those amplifiers also get great reviews. So that kind of gives me a little confidence in saying that, my experience, it makes sense. Other people have reviewed this or something similar and have also raved about it. So that's a good thing. As far as the topology class H, all I can say is that I am very happy that it runs cool because I'm here in Southern California. My dedicated theater is in the garage and it gets hot, right? It gets hot in there without anything on. Now you start turning on the projector, you have amplifiers turning on, you have your AVR, you have all this stuff, and it starts getting hot, right? And that's one thing I noticed about this. I was playing it, so some of my testing involved playing this amplifier full range with all 5 speakers driven with no bass management. Basically, all the bass going to all the speakers, and I was trying to turn it up loud. And after hour and a half, 2 hours, I put my hand near it, and I was like, "Awesome." I mean, you could feel a tiny bit of warmth, but definitely not like I have a Denon X4700H. That thing gets you could feel a lot of heat coming off of that thing. Um, I also have Parasound 5-channel A52 Plus. You can feel the heat coming out of that thing when it's on. And so I am happy to say that it definitely runs cool. Um, Very important. I have some questions here. I'll make sure I can't pop them up on the screen like I do with StreamYard, but let's see. He says like a Class D combined with Class AB app, I guess. Yeah. Again, I'm not an expert when it comes to the topology of amplifiers, things like that. Um, what is your stand on NAD new amps versus old? You know what? I haven't reviewed the old versus new, so I can't say. Let me see here. How's my audio and video okay over there? I'm kind of curious how I can get this to flip the scene so you can see this the way I'm seeing it. Second here. Displays. I'm wondering if I can flip the screen. Scaled. Arrangement. No, I don't see an option. Okay. Anyway, I'll figure that out. What other questions? So far, so good. Audio is fine. All right, cool. I will continue. Nero XA5180. So this is again, Nero XA5180 5-channel amplifier. Go here. Oh, there it is. It's this one here. Any more pictures of this thing? There it is. So right now it's $799. So you save $400 on this. To me, compared to others, this is pretty affordable. Right? I'm not going to say ever that it's cheap or anything inexpensive because it all depends on the person. Like what's inexpensive for one person could be very expensive to another, and vice versa. So what else? It runs cool. Another thing that's a silly thing, but I like the way it sounds when you turn it on. It's kind of a weird thing, satisfying thing when you press the button to turn on the AVR or you turn it on with a remote and you hear your power amplifiers go, you know. I don't know, something satisfying about that, just to let you know, like, hey, something's happening here. I like that. So it does that. I was kind of wondering if it would still do that, considering it's Class H. The other amplifier I have is a high bias Class AB amp, and it definitely does that as well. Now, Class D. So Class D amplifiers, some of the inexpensive ones that I've used, I noticed have a hiss, and that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. So I've reviewed various powered speakers, desktop monitors, and they're using Class D technology, and I find that I don't like that hiss. It's audible, and even if I couldn't hear it in my home theater, I wouldn't want it. I think eventually with enough speakers or low enough noise floor, you'll be able to hear that hiss, and I'd prefer to not have that. And this one, I was concerned at the beginning that I would turn it on and it might have, a little bit of a hiss or something like that. Nope, None of that. Turned it on, put my ear to my speakers, silent. So that's always a good sign. Let's see here. Loud. So the other thing was, how loud could this go? So I have various speakers, some that are easy to drive, so some of that are not so easy to drive. And so I still do need to do more testing on it. I think what I want to do is maybe test it out with some of those old ELAC UB5s, because they're 4 ohms, and it's counterintuitive in that trying it with some smaller speakers that are trying to produce low bass, those are the ones that have very low sensitivities. Sometimes they're very hard to drive, to a loud level cleanly. And so I want to try that with the UB5, old ELAC UB5, to see. Typically, what ends up happening is if you're using an amplifier that's not very powerful, is when the bass hits, that's when you're like, ooh, you can tell like it just doesn't have enough juice to handle the bass. So I'm using it with some pretty inefficient speakers right now, and it's having no problem playing it loud enough for me. And at this point, I would be more worried about blowing up the speakers than not having enough power. Let's see. Questions here. Sorry, what's your home theater setup? The home theater amp that I have right now. So here's the thing is, yes. So this goes along with this question. What differences could you tell with the OSD and Parasound? Okay, so I do have the Parasound A52 Plus. I love it. I think it looks awesome. It sounds great. It's $3,000. Yeah, yeah. The reason I wanted that amp was because I didn't ever want anybody to send me speakers and say, "Well, what are you running it with?" Oh, that amp's not good enough. It was more like that. And so with the Parasound, anytime I've told somebody, "Yeah, I'm using a Parasound A52 Plus," oh, that's a great amp. Done. Conversation's over, right? And what differences could I hear? Maybe my ears aren't good enough because I couldn't I couldn't hear a difference, right? But I don't think that that's the reason why you'd go with the Parasound. Just to be fair, they're known for products that last a really long time, and I have confidence that that would last a really long time. Now, what does that mean about the OSD? That means nothing. It doesn't. Have no idea either way. Like the Parasound could break tomorrow. I don't know. You know, but from what I've heard, because Parasound's been around for a long time, that they do have a very good history of lasting a long time and supporting their products. And OSD, so here's what I do know about OSD is I've heard people who have had issues with certain products and they've always taken care of them. I've never ever once heard, "Oh, I had a problem with OSD and they ignored me." Like, no. Usually it's like, I had an issue, they sent me a new one. So um yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I wouldn't want to support a company that really didn't have a good support. I don't like those type of companies. Let's see, it's 3K, but there's no hiss or electrical noise, right? That is correct. There's no hiss, no electrical noise. And then he has this other amplifier 5 channel. While dynamics are awesome, but when nothing is playing, that hiss. Yeah. So he's saying this his amplifier iota V. I don't know what that. I've seen that around. I don't know how to say it. No, no. If you watch some of my reviews of other powered speakers, like the initial Cali Audio LP6, the JBL 305P, various products like that, I always complain about the hiss. I don't like that. It's my pet peeve. If something is hissing, that's not part of the music. It shouldn't be there. And, companies like Cali, their new products are way lower in the noise floor. So they have less hiss. And so it's something that they have listened to feedback, and I'm very happy about that. So yeah, as far as this particular app, no hiss. If there was hiss, I'll just say it. It's hissy. And it's one of my notes. I have some notes here. It says no hiss. Quality differences. I can't hear an audible difference. Measurable is different though. If somebody could measure the two, they might find like, oh, this one is better and more linear, this and that. Not saying that it's not that. It's not measurable. I don't know. For all I know, the OSD could measure better. I have no idea. That's not what I'm doing here. I don't have the tools or the equipment to do that. All I can say is if somebody were to ask me, can you hear a difference? The answer is no. I couldn't. Um, let's see here. Yeah. So people are commenting about other ones that have very nice specs. There's Easy HT Tech. So here we go. If you see Easy HT Tech, I did want to mention that my buddy Easy HT Tech, he actually has one of these and he's done an unboxing on his channel. So if you go to Easy HT Tech's channel, you'll see his unboxing of the OSD Audio Nero. And I'm actually curious, you know, I know from talking to you before, you seem to like the amplifier. You're happy with it. So that's good. And that's the other thing is I hear people's feedback on these amplifiers, and yeah, I'm happy to recommend something that I have a good experience with, but it gives me more confidence when other people also have a good experience with it. Okay, so he says the amp is definitely underrated. All right. What else? Other things. They have a I don't know if it's out yet, but they said they have a 3-channel and a 7-channel. So 3, 5, and 7-channel amplifiers, depending on what you need. So you know, not everybody needs 5. You know, you might get 2 of these. Now you have 10 channels, but you may need just 3 more, or you need to get a 5 and a 7 to give you that just the right amount without any channels that are being unused that you're actually paying for. So that's cool. Same platform. And what the owner told me actually is that the 3-channel actually gives you more power because they're still using the same toroidal transformer, but it's spread out into fewer channels, so each channel actually has more power on that one. And I would guess conversely, the 7-channel might have less. I don't know. What is he saying? So I guess Easy HT Tech is saying, I will gladly recommend it. I'm picking up another one soon. All right. Um, is there Derek says, is there anything in the market that compares at this price point? Mm, I it's hard to say because I haven't reviewed anything else. There's Simon. So hey, we got Simon Spears from OSD. He says 3 and 7 by the end of the year. Delays in shipping. Thank you, Simon, for being on. And this is cool. It's cool. As you can tell, yeah, this is live. And so Simon, they don't get to review anything I say. Right, Simon? I can say whatever I want. What else is here? Both amps are listed on the website. How is the amp compared to the Outlaw 5000X? That's the one I would refer to earlier in that I saw a review of those. I looked at the internals. I'm like, oh, that looks very similar, right? And yeah, similar price range, but I can't speak on that one. I don't know it. I don't know what the differences are. It looks different from the outside though. This one thing that I liked about this is it has these lights on the front. So my Parasound has lights that tell you which channels are working, which channels are on, and these have the same types of lights where it lets you know what's going on. Yeah, just little things, you know, these little things that you pay for that are just nice to have, right? And yeah, Simon, you guys will back up this product, right? If anybody ever has an issue, you guys will promise to take care of them, right? So that's another thing. I don't know about the other companies. I don't know how they deal with their customers, but that's something else that you need to consider is, you know, make sure you know who you're dealing with when it comes to these companies. What else? Yeah, I think what they've said is that they've upgraded the chassis. I know compared to the previous one, so OSD actually had a previous 5-channel amp, and they said that they've made some changes. I saw some people saying that they had some issues with like the auto switching. I've tried the auto switching, meaning not auto switching, sorry. They're what is it called? Auto sensing. So basically, when you turn on your AVR, you don't have to turn on 2 things. You want your AVR to turn on or your pre-pro to turn on, and that should turn on your power amp. And so I have that plug. Basically, it's like a headphone jack, right? 3.5 millimeter jack. And I've tried it with the mono jack, which is just like if you look at the jack itself, there's only like a tip and a ring, and that's it. That one works. And then I tried just for fun. I just got like a normal headphone jack, right? With I think it's TRS, tip ring sleeve. Tried that out. Works. No issue. I have not tried the one where it auto senses a signal. I wouldn't rely on that really. I know subs do that too, where it senses when a signal is coming in. But if you have an AVR and you're using a power amp, you probably have the ability to use a cable. And yeah, that's what you should probably use. Don't use auto sensing. It doesn't really make too much sense to use that, in my opinion. Maybe somebody has a use case for that. What is Simon saying here? Saying the amp designs started the same but have diverged. Okay, very good. And he said, yes, we'll support everything we sell. Good. You heard it from Simon. The model, okay, so Easy HD Tech is saying the model is quiet. I don't hear it when watching movies. Trevor Prescott says, what about those new MB5s? Oh man, you guys are on it. You guys are on it. Yeah, the MB5s, they just came in. I'm super excited about those. OSD, like small bookshelf speakers. I'm excited about the powered one especially. But we'll see. I have to measure them. I got to listen to them. Listen and then measure. Make sure I get that straight. I listen first, measure afterwards. Just because, I get that frequency response in my mind. I can't get it out. In any case, the frequency response is going to say what's happening, right? So what else? What else I got here? Yeah, upgraded chassis and lights on these. Anything else? Any other things that you guys want to know about this particular amplifier? I like it, man. All I know is I like it. I really like it. I like efficient. To me, efficient is important because it's not like electricity's free, and we're talking about power amplifiers. If you're running them, playing movies, and you're like me, you're always using them. If it's getting that hot, I guarantee it's using some power, right? Stuff that just doesn't get hot without using power. And the fact that this is running cool, that tells me it's efficient. So that's important to me. And at the end of the day, if it sounds really good and it's saving me money, I'm happy. Especially right now I have one of them. I might say, hey OSD, what's up? I have 13 channels, so 5 channels. I'm gonna need a few more, right? So that'll start to add up when you have a couple power amps and they're all running super hot. It's gonna heat up your room. You're gonna have to run that AC a little bit more. Your electric bill is gonna be higher. All that. So all these things that you got to consider, right? That when you're browsing around on the website here, you're looking around, man, why is this still backwards? When you're browsing around here, you're probably not looking at those use cases. Is this more? You're not thinking about those sorts of things. So yeah, you definitely should. By the way, I have these cables from OSD. This I wired my whole place with this. It's kind of side topic, but these are awesome. I like this. Thank you, OSD. What would I do without you? What else here? Other questions? Mac47, good afternoon, gentlemen. Recap the wattage per channel. Yeah, so wattage per channel on this is 120 watts times 5 at 8 ohms, full range, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, with all channels driven. So no funny business, A lot of times companies will do some stuff where there's like, yeah, 300 watts, RMS at 4 ohms at 1 kilohertz. It's like weird test tone that you wouldn't want to listen to with one channel driven. Like, okay, well, that's one channel driven. How about all of them driven? So this is the spec that you want, And then at 4 ohms, it's 180 watts per channel RMS times 5, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So yeah, for most speakers, I think that's good. I mean, the thing, like I said earlier, that's counterintuitive is you probably will need more wattage in a home environment for small speakers that are trying to produce deep bass, because those are the ones that are least efficient, right? If you have some big old, La Scalas or something like that, they're huge, right? And you think, oh, that must need a lot of power. No, actually, they don't. They're very efficient. You don't need a ton of power for those. So it's kind of the opposite. Interesting. OSD needs to send me one for your review. Yeah, send that man one. He deserves it. He's awesome. Let's see. Regular RGA, how's it going? What's up? So it says, Derek, why does it say 240 watts in the name? Yeah, it does say that up here. Yeah, I'm not, I'm not for that. I would say just say what it is. It's a great 5-channel amp that is 120 watts at 8 ohms. You don't need to do that. But that's not me. I'm not in charge of the marketing. Um, I need a plug for those speaker wires. I'm finishing up my home theater and start with soon. Yeah. Don says, Simon, how much will the 7-channel cost? Ooh. Okay, so Simon is coming in hot with the actual, measurements. That's why I'm glad that you're here, Simon. Really, you're awesome. He says, and by the way, Simon, if you're just tuning in, Simon does work for OSD. And so he says it actually measures 135 watts into 8 ohms with 0.1 THD total harmonic distortion, all channels driven 20 to 20 kilohertz. So it's actually a little bit more, 135, based on the specs that others use, right? So it just depends on how strict you want to be. I prefer it when companies are more strict, right? Because really, we get caught up in these wattage ratings, and of course, you want a ton of power, but how much do you really need? Do you know that? Do you know how much clean power you really need in order to drive your speakers at the volume that you want without blowing up your speakers, right? Yeah, it sounds awesome to have more wattage, but I don't want to get into the debate of what blows up speakers, whether it's low power with distortion or high power with high clean power. Which one would blow up your speakers first? I'm in the camp that would say high power that's clean, because you might not know that it's frying your speaker because you don't hear any distortion until your woofer bottoms out. Versus, when you're using an amplifier that is starting to clip, you'll hear it. You'll hear like, oh, it's starting to sound bad. Maybe I shouldn't go there. But yeah, I won't go there. That's not for this discussion. What else? Okay, Simon says he can't publish a 7 or 3-channel price till they land. Understandable. Yep. Mark says they look identical to the Outlaw in spec, size, and yeah, Simon already addressed that. They started on the same platform, but they diverged and they did some stuff a little bit different. Maybe obviously with the chassis, you can tell that there's some differences in the face. So Simon says we publish 120 because we know it exceeds that. I like that. I like underrating. Go the BMW route where you say the horsepower is lower than it actually is. Oh no, RGA regular guy audio says don't, Joe, just don't. Multi kilowatts here. You're a power guy. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. There's no reason why the car had to have 500 horses. Sometimes you just got to do it. You got to do you. Yeah. What's up, Ty? Um, yeah. Yeah. What else you guys want to know? See if there's anything else here that I missed out on. Just looking at their website. Man, I wish this wasn't backwards on here. It says custom designed heat sinks achieve full power without the need for distracting fans. Yes, I like that. I don't like, you know, if you look at your AVR, if you look at the bottom of a Denon X4700H, you'll see 2 fans down there. And I was surprised to see that. Even my NAD T778, which is a Class D, I believe they call it Class D. Not sure if they call it Class D or Class H, but it also has a fan. So I like stuff that's quiet. I'm using a M1 Mac Mini right now. It does have a fan, but I've never even heard it turn on. So I'm all about efficiency, and this is what I like about this amp. Really, is efficiency. If it can give you the power that you want without consuming too much power, I'm all for that. Let's see here. I see my wife in here. Regular guy audio. OSD, I like your stuff. Don't use it myself, but friends do. What is the question? Okay. RJ says, my wife wants to know what's up with the wall. She likes it. Yep, just for aesthetics. A lot of people are like, is that for diffusion? Does it work? I'm like, it's just for looks. Probably makes it sound worse. Who knows? Anything else? It's just paneling, yeah. What else do I want to talk about here? Yeah, man, I'm very happy with this amplifier. Very happy. It's always tough, because I know for a fact people are gonna say like, "Oh, so how does it compare to the Parasound?" That's $3,000. You could buy a bunch of these for a Parasound. That's always a tough comparison because I love the Parasound, but it's because I love the way it looks. I know it's built extremely well, but I have to be honest. If somebody asks me, "Can you hear a difference?" I can't. I just can't. Now that might be somebody might say, I'm sure somebody at Parasound will be like, "Oh, you need to have better speakers, more resolving." Maybe, maybe I don't have the golden ear, but I'm happy to recommend both. I don't think it's like that. I don't think it has to be one or the other. I think somebody who wants that particular app should go get that particular app. If you're like me and you want efficiency, you want something that runs cool, and you want something that sounds good. I think this sounds good. It runs cool. I'm happy about it. Let's see. What's the advantage of using older apps versus these new ones? I'm planning to get an old Adcom and Rotel. Thanks. Yeah. So, mm, it's this is up for debate. A lot of people will say, these old, like, the hotter it gets, the better. So if it's running on tubes and the whole thing is running like a space heater, they're all for that. And I don't like inefficiency. You know, I like efficiency. But what is the disadvantage? Very little that I've seen, right? So a lot of people like to say that there's always a downside, and sometimes there is. But computers used to take up an entire room. They used to require air conditioning, right? Now your phone is much more powerful than that. Doesn't have a fan, doesn't need AC, and so what's the downside? What's the downside? More powerful, more efficient, and it doesn't require a special room with AC. So I don't think it always has to be the type of trade-off that people are expecting, where if the amplifier is more efficient, it's got to be way worse. No, I haven't experienced that myself. Maybe some of the early Class D stuff I could hear. Maybe it was hissy, like I was saying. I don't like that. This one does not hiss. Mm, uh, Mark says, I have a Bose 5 double 5 cube speakers and 2 Bose subwoofers. What is the best amp or receiver I should buy? I would say, you know what? I think that those were really meant to be used with their Bose things. I would say maybe try out like anything with Odyssey would be a good start. Start off with, a Denon, something like that, where it could make sure that no bass is going to go to those cube speakers, because if you don't have the proper room correction and you're sending bass home, you're going to blow them up. So I'd say try out something like the just anything with Odyssey. Denon and Odyssey is a good place to start. I could easily recommend those. I know other amplifiers, AVRs would work also, but I haven't had enough experience where I could personally recommend them. Not that they're bad, just I don't have experience. Is there an expected date for the 7-channel amp to come out? Now, here's the thing. Maybe Simon can answer that. As you guys know, there's a lot of problems with manufacturing and getting stuff out because of chip shortages, things like that. So everybody is getting hit with that. RJ in the early. So RJ says that at the beginning, Class D had some issues and he didn't like it, and he still prefers AB. Okay. Your thoughts on using Onkyo using Dirac Live? Man, I like Dirac. You know me, I'm a Dirac fan, so I'm happy about that. But no Oro. Come on, guys, get Oro. I want Oro and Dirac. That's the combo. What else we got here? I'm gonna wrap this up pretty soon because this is supposed to be a review of this OSD, a live review of this OSD amp. If you have any more questions about that, let me know, because I could talk to you guys all day. You know me. It's bad to leave your amp on standby mode, or should you switch the power switch off when not using it? I mean, probably best to turn it off, just to not waste electricity. Um, yeah, that's gonna be on you, right? I don't think it's taking off years off that amplifier. If your amplifier can't handle being on, then there's an issue. I would expect to be able to keep it on. Um, yeah, I noticed that it runs cooler if I don't run music through it, so I like that. Whereas some amplifiers I've noticed, they're always just running hot. Like it doesn't matter if you're playing music, doesn't matter any of that stuff. It's just always hot. Whereas these, it gets a little warmer if you push it a little bit, not a lot. But yeah, if you're not using it at all, it runs really cool. Mm. So Nick says I have Klipsch RP series for home theater. What difference do you think I will hear adding this amp? Um, so typically Klipsch are kind of known for being high sensitivity, or they at least claim that their speakers are high sensitivity. And what that means is you don't need as much power. So whether you need a power amp, I don't think anybody needs a power amp. You know, I I mean, in my case, I don't think I need a power amp. I like a power amp, and that's okay. I prefer. So here's the thing. Here's a particular use case. The Denon X47H that I have has a preamp mode, meaning I can either use all the amplifiers that are built into it, class A, B, so the thing gets hot, right? Also, there's so much technology packed into this AVR that it's doing processing, it's doing video, HDMI switching. It has all this stuff built into it, plus amplification for what, 11 channels or something like that? Like something has to give at that point, right? There's just not enough space and there's just too much heat. So I think that even though those amps are good, right? I think that I would expect the power to be cleaner and better on an external power amp just because of the space, right? Um, might be different if you're talking about if the Denon had maybe some amplifiers that were not class AB, you know, maybe. Again, I'm not an amplifier expert, so I can't speak on that. I might be completely wrong. But my whole point is that amp, if I were to run everything off of it, gets extremely hot, and it kind of worries me that that thing is getting too hot. Actually, that's why it has those fans, right? And in this way, I can actually run that amplifier in preamp mode, meaning don't use any of the amplification. Just use it for the processing, video, preamps, preamp out to my power amps. And now you have that running a lot cooler than it used to. And then I have it going out to this OSD 5-channel that's also running cool. So combine those two actually it just feels cooler than if I were to try to run everything off of that Denon. So that's a particular use case. Let's see here. What else are you guys saying here? It's all right. Rob asked what class is the OSD Nero, and Rob, the answer is a class H. Mark, how do they deal with warranty? Does it need to be shipped overseas? Hopefully Simon's still here to answer that. I don't know the answer to that one. RJ says my wife Techniques receiver is on 24/7, except when you clean it. All right. Jeff says OSD versus a stack of cheap crowns. I've heard good things about those crown amplifiers. I just don't have experience. I know one complaint that I've heard about people using some of the crown amplifiers is I've seen them do like modifications on the fans, so they have quieter fans. So I don't know if all of them have that, but I prefer not to have any fans, and this OSD doesn't have any. So maybe that's one difference. Do you have a preference with this app as far as music or movies? Yeah, to me, music and movies, I don't really differentiate too much. Like, I'm looking for something that can produce the sound accurately. And whether it's music or movies, the speakers have no idea. right? I understand what you're saying, that movies are probably going to be more demanding, and you're right. It's going to have more bass and all that. But think about it like this: is if you have a home theater, you're probably offloading a lot of the bass duty to subwoofers, and they have their own amplifiers, right? So in this case, it's just the amp is doing its job, right? It's able to play my speakers loud and clear, and the thing is not getting hot. That's it. Oh, no, 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 no. I bought the amp. Excellent sound. I'm running ELAC Karina Towers. Very nice. Nice, Justin the Great. Let's see here. Simon says, any interest in the Sony HT-A9? I am curious. Always curious about new technology. So H2O FSU. I have a SVS Ultra Tower and currently use pre-outs on the Denon X3700H. Nice. I'm using Emotiva Bass X5175 to power my front stage. Would the OSD be an upgrade and give me better sound? I can't say. I haven't reviewed that particular unit, so I'll stay out of that one. Okay. Simon says 3 and 7 can be switched to 230 volts. The 5 cannot. Don't ask why. All right. Uh, RJ says crowns aren't for everyone. They're great, but you can have bad things happen. Uh, they draw a lot. They put out a lot. Yeah, yeah. You have to be careful with a lot of these high power amplifiers. People don't realize. I've smoked some subwoofers back in the day, and it's not from using an underpowered amp. I was using a amp that was too powerful, and it doesn't take very much to see smoke coming out of those things. And that's a good segue to Rob's question. Anyone using the car sub at home? You could. There's no reason why you can't, right? The problem before, back in the day, used to be that car audio stuff used to be 4 ohms, and a lot of the old school amplifiers would want to only really run at 8 ohms. So you throw some 4 ohm stuff, and the stuff would shut off. Don't use any car audio subs that are like 2 ohms or 1 ohm. That's probably not a great idea. But yeah, you definitely can. 4 ohms. Stick to 4 ohms though. You know what I mean? Play it safe. Make sure your amp can handle that. RJ says yes to great success. 12-inch scar in a T line. Ooh. All right. What else we got here? Anything else? You know what I do also want to try is I want to try the balanced XLR. It's just that my AVR doesn't have balanced XLR. Maybe if I step it up to something else like a pre-pro that does have XLR, then I'll have an excuse to spend a lot of money on XLR cables. Dave says, not amp related. Have you reviewed Revel speakers? I've been looking at the Performance series. No, but of course, heard good things about Revel. Trying to see. Anything else that I have to mention here? Yeah, I guess all I could say is if you Google this amplifier, OSD Nero XA5180, you'll find it. Actually, I've linked down below. So use the link where it says buy directly from OSD because it says, you know, well, oh no, you guys gonna be back in stock? Anyway, you can either buy it from them or from Amazon. But yeah, that'll be up to you. Some people don't like Amazon for some reason, which is okay. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I think I've answered most of the questions. Just seeing if there's anything else that I need to mention. Nice terminals. It looks nice. I'm sure some people are going to want to know if you can rack mount this thing. I'm assuming you can. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like there's some screws on the side here. Yeah. £50, by the way. I didn't mention that earlier. It was only podcast month. All right, cool. All right, guys. I think I've answered most of you guys' questions. You guys are asking speaker related stuff, which we can always talk about on the Daily Hi-Fi podcast. We talk about anything. This one, I really wanted to keep it to this amplifier. I know it went off topic a few times, but that's how it goes when you do this live stuff. And hopefully you guys got some info out of that. I do plan on maybe making another video where I actually measure. So the only measurements that I can really do without having the proper measurement tools is maybe running a frequency response measurement of various speakers that would be tough for any amplifier. So maybe I'll compare this versus my $3,000 amplifier with that ELAC that I mentioned earlier. That's 4 ohms, where it's very demanding. I'll try a frequency response of that and see if it's the same with this amp and my $3,000 amplifier. And then maybe I'll do another one with the I have, what is that? LS35A. So LS35A, I had one from Sound Artist. Hold on, let me see what the ohms are. Sound Artist LS35A. And this is the opposite. So this is a very interesting speaker. What was this? The sensitivity on this thing was like 16 ohms or something. Something weird. And that's the LS35A design, though. You know, so the opposite, where it's very high resistance. So I'm wondering if both of those would be kind of two ends of the extreme, right? Oh no, this one's 11 ohms. 11 ohms. Okay. Dave says, sorry, Joe, good stuff and nice looking app. I use an NAD 747 Rotel. Nice. All right. So Simon says stock very low, more coming end of October. All right. All right. Well, you know what? I think on your website there's an option there to be notified, to be emailed when they're back in stock. So definitely do that. Yeah. Yeah. $7.99. I don't think you can go wrong with this. I'm happy to recommend it. All right, guys. I think that is it for now. Thanks for hanging out, and let me know if you like this sort of thing, this live kind of review. This is I got to make sure I mention my friend FOMO, Stop the FOMO on YouTube. He did this live review, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't I try that? So that's what this is. So shout out to him. See you guys. All right. You guys said you love it. All right, cool. Well, I'm glad that you guys were here. Yeah, this is fun. All right. So links are down in the description. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.